Welcome back. We've got Jessica Motaung, Managing Director of Kaizer Chiefs, on the verge of glory this year. Joining us this morning. It's been great catching up with you. Thank you so much for joining us. Getting into the nuts and bolts of the team and what is really working at the moment. When we talk about a brand of football, when we hear Gordon Egerson talking about a brand or an identity of South African football, what does that mean to you in a Chiefs context?
Well, I think what's been wonderful and what's working is the mix of players, first of all. I think that's very important. And then obviously you've got an excellent coach who knows football. When you've got a coach who understands the game and is able to take the game and take his players and make it gel, I think it's amazing. I mean, you look at players like Bernard Parker. Parker has just shot up and just is shining because he's got a coach who understands him. So I think it's also about the ability to also take out what is best in your players. And for me, I think the ability to allow our players to express themselves. And you are seeing great football on the pitch, which I think is great. It's been wonderful. That's the business ultimately. And to see the players being able to express themselves, to see great passes, great links, it has been amazing. And to see it translate even at the national team level is wonderful. And I'm really proud of our players who go in and play at the national team and come back and bring certain things from the national team as well. But we have seen South African football really go from stride to stride.
Oh, no, it's been amazing. And I think Bernard is a shoo-in for the Golden Boot this year. Linda, who is having all of the fun today, got to spend a little bit of time with Bernard to tell us a little bit about his season, what it's been like achieving on this level. Linda, I hate you today, man.
Good morning, Expresso. Today we're out in the Kaizer Chiefs village. I'm hanging out with a very seasoned striker and also Golden Boot hopeful, Bernard Parker. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
What have you been doing in order to prepare for this match against Ajax?
We've been preparing well. We're not much worried about them. We're more worried about us, what we do right during the basics, what we've been doing during the season. And we're well aware that they're a bit struggling. And we're up for it when we get to Cape Town.
So you scored 2 goals against Ajax so far. Could we expect a third time lucky?
Yes, hopefully. Hopefully. I hope to continue on my scoring form. And yes, I hope to score against Ajax and help the team win.
Now, you and Majora have a really good relationship on the field. I mean, you got 20 goals in between the two of you. How is the relationship off the field?
We've got a good relationship, me and Majora, Kingston Carter as well. We've been scoring. We've been also practicing and training our finishing. And when it comes to the game, it seems to be working for us.
Are you also up for nomination for the Golden Boot Award? How do you feel about that?
It's a good feeling. We've been winning. That's what's important. And I've been scoring. And I hope I can continue scoring until the end of the season.
Great. So how about you coach me on the field a bit? You know, I'm really good, but I just need a little extra care, man. I also want to get a Golden Boot.
To be a good goal scorer,
yeah.
It's firstly you have to position yourself well in the last third. Always make sure you're in a good position.
Yes! So today I've learned how to dribble through the defenders, cross the ball over to the strikers, as well as land it in the net, just like I did right now. I think it's safe to say I've earned the Golden Boot on the Expresso show. So watch out, Graham. Coming for you, man.
Oh, well, Linda, I'm glad you finally found the back of the net, son. You did us proud. Bernard, an absolute legend, but he is one of many stars that has come to the party, and it seems like you guys have matured, that this really has been a rebuilding phase, and now we're starting to reap the fruits of all that labor.
No, definitely. And I think it was very clear from the beginning, our intentions at the beginning of the season, reinvesting in the club, investing in a good coach, investing in good players, and then allowing the technical team to do the work that they need to do. And it's a lesson we've learned even moving forward in terms of our new development structures that we'll be putting together to make sure that we really invest in young players and make sure that we grow the Kaizer Chiefs brand of football. You're talking about a brand of football which is about flair, which is about expression, which is about teamwork. Very, very important.
And now you've added to that mix finishing, about scoring goals. And that's always been the monkey on our shoulder that we don't score goals. If we have to take a look at a bygone era, one particular player that stands out for me as one of the greatest South African players, and I think one of your favorite sons way back when, Lucas Radebe. When last did you see a man cut such a fine figure in a Chiefs suit? But this really does take us back to the South African story. We've got these legends, these guys who have done so much for the sport, yet so often we see them ending their careers in poverty, unlike Roo, who has obviously achieved on the very highest level that you can. Is that changing now? Are we seeing a complete circle now around our players, that those that do give their all in their career, are we looking after our footballers now? What is Chiefs doing to add to the legacy of football?
Well, very interesting. You know, I just traveled to the UK and just looked at what other clubs are doing. It's very interesting the work that they do with the legends and keep them very much involved in the club, so you don't cut them out, you know. And yes, Lucas has done an incredible job. But I think what we're trying to do is also educate our players to understand that they have a role to play, and also and have to look at their legacy linked to the club, but also as individuals. So it's also, I think, a 360 in terms of empowering them around finances, around the next phase of their lives, because I think it's very difficult when you've been in the limelight, when you've been in that space and things change, and making that decision to say, do I stop playing, and what is my vision for myself? So it's understanding their greater vision as well and working with them around that. I'm happy to see some of them, and we've recommended some of them to the media to work as commentators, to take their understanding of the game to the next level, to see them working as coaches in the development structures of different clubs has been great. So yes, we are working very closely with our players to see how they can really have continuity in their lives and not be in the doldrums. I mean, we've seen some really terrible stories around players who have not succeeded and whose lives
dying in
are
poverty,
yes,
which
and
is
that's
just shocking.
And also, I think it's around preparing them for the fact that this is one phase of your life. It is not the end of your life, or it's not. Don't forget that there's more to life, because sometimes they live for now and don't see the future.
You know, I think you can almost class South African players, those that want to achieve the glory here on South African soil, and that's what it's about. Then you get those that are looking at a long-term career, like Roo, who obviously achieved absolute greatness for Leeds. He really did become a great brand ambassador for South African football. You know, literally to the point where a band was formed to honor the great man. And we've got Kaizer Chiefs now in the UK adopting that international brand. You can check them, looking too cool for school. How did that make you feel to know that your brand has achieved that kind of recognition across the globe? That is just so weird.
No, it was very interesting. In fact, they've come to South
Africa.
Africa.
Did they ask you? Sorry.
They didn't ask. They asked Lucas. They wanted to name. They loved Lucas. They wanted to name themselves after his former club. And obviously, initially there were brand issues, major brand issues. But I think it's been great. It's been great brand extension. I was in Australia a few years ago, and I'm in my hotel room. There's this huge concert going on, and I'm wondering, okay, who's this? And it's the Kaizer Chiefs band. You know, and it was wonderful. I think what's been great for us is to see that anything with the name Kaizer Chiefs can really grow. So it's been great brand extension, and yes, we've interacted with them. They've even come to play a little friendly at the Chiefs Village, which has been great.
Man, I sense a concert brewing.
Anything's possible.
Oh man, Kat, sorry to steal you away, my brew. Okay, you can enter the conversation again after this. But I understand you're spending a bit of time with Carmel Fisher, who is one of the stars of High Rollers, the latest hit series on SABC3.